Hello and welcome to Current Issues with me Tarun. On the eve of the 69th Independence Day, or shall we say India at 69 years after we built a modern democratic nation, we discuss today on what does patriotism mean to us, what does independence mean to us, which we got after thousands of Hindustanis sacrificed their lives in the independence struggle. The Indian armed forces fought wars at the cost of their lives to keep the dream of independent, modern and democratic India alive. We all contributed to make India what it is today, a strong nation which is multicultural, multi-religious and multilingual, where over 125 crore people live as Indians. To discuss the spirit of independence and patriotism, joining me on the discussion today are eminent writer Dr. Ashok Vajpayee, activist and environmentalist Ravi Kalra, historian Professor Rizwan Kaisar and Colonel B.N. Thapar, father of Captain Vijayan Thapar, the braveheart of 1999 Kargil War, who a recipient of the Veer Chakra. I'll first go to Colonel Thapar and asked him, sir, when we sit in studios in Delhi and we discuss these things, we are talking of independent India, but do you think the time has come that people must realize that thousands have laid down their lives either in Kashmir or the other parts over these past 70 years for us to be sitting cozy in our houses and criticizing people, of having drawing room discussions, of having discussions in boardroom, in restaurants and clubs? Time has come to sensitize people what it means to be independent?
No, I don't think that time has come now. It had come much before.
It had come much earlier.
Much earlier. And to say that it has come today shows a certain failing in our society, in our polity, that we are talking about it, that we should realize today. I think it should have come very, very many years ago when we really went through this stage. Now, today we are on a take-off stage, and the fruits of our freedom have come to bear now. And really India is on really a take-off stage.
Yes.
Whether it is economy, whether it is trade, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is trying to assert itself in various fields, we have come, we are on the world stage now.
Colonel Thapar, I would like to ask you, your son laid down his life for this nation. You truly represent a family who actually have sacrificed. And there are so many things, happening in the country today, where there is some people refusing to sing the national anthem or things like that. When you look at all this, and when you represent a family whose son laid down his life, and you have a generation of people who served in the armed forces in your own family, what will be your message to the nation?
No, the message to the nation is very clear, that this thing is not tolerable at all. We have a threat from outside which we are duty bound to act against, a threat of a foreign country trying to undo the independence of India, the sovereignty of India. We are bound to do something about it. Now, unfortunately, the threat is coming from within.
Yes.
And that is something which is a great political failing.
Okay.
Failing of the leadership to handle the country the way it should be.
Okay.
And there should be no cause for anybody to say that he's got some objection about singing the national anthem or standing up for the national anthem or whatever is valuable to India.
Yes.
So far, suddenly you can't have people getting up and saying that it is against our whatever, some excuse or the other.
Okay.
And it cannot be tolerated. It should not be tolerated.
Okay. I am going to historian and somebody who is a professor, Professor Rizwan Kaisar. Rizwan Kaisar, Mr. Kaisar, I would like to ask you, on the eve of the 69th Independence Day, that what does independence mean to you, and is it time in India today that we sensitize people of what does India mean, what does unity mean, what does independence mean?
2-3 things that I would like to add, that as a nation we have not been able to generate the kind of moral good that we should have.
Yes.
Number one, the value for independence and the kind of freedom that India won in 1947, it is this which hasn't really gone down in the heart and soul of the people of India to value, cherish and therefore protect. Because the current generation and also perhaps the political formations, they have not been really telling people how to be that much free-minded, independent in their opinion, expression and the rest. Number two, we rarely get to really at mass level celebrate secular democracy that we've been able to establish in 1947, of course with the implementation of
Yes.
the Constitution of India on 26 January 1950.
Yes.
It is this that we got to tell ourselves, the generation which is growing up, that this is what they got to value. Three, that people have not been able to really value is the kind of diversity that India is given to enjoy.
Yes.
I mean, proverbial diversity, perhaps no other country on this earth would have the kind of diversity, cultural, linguistic, ethnic,
Yes.
religious. Just think
it
of
truly
anything.
amazes us, the kind of.
It amazes us, but in a way we have not been able to respect. I give you one example. A lot of friends from the northeastern part of India
Yes.
suffer kind of discrimination, hostility, lack of respect for the kind of culture, for the kind of ethnicity that they belong to. We all have this understanding of that India, you know, some years ago, say 20, 30 years ago, a South Indian was addressed in a city like Delhi just as another Madrasi.
Yes.
Now we have begun to really know that Madras is just not placed. There's a whole southern India.
That's a very important
consist
point you're making, sir. In fact, I'll go across to Ravi Kalra. Mr. Kalra, I would like to ask you first on your opening comments at India at 69, and second is a question. Do you think that the advent of the smartphone or the mobile phone has truly integrated us as also a nation? Because communication increased, you also understood more about India. How would you see these two things, India at 69 and the past, what we call the smartphone generation? I mean, somebody who's either 15 years old or somebody who's 75 years old, everybody is hooked to his mobiles and is getting to know a lot of India or how the vastness of this nation through the mobile phone.
No, you are absolutely right. Since the independence, our nation has gone really very far, starting from the infrastructure to the communication, as you said, it has really rapidly gone and taken very heights and lead it around the world. We are in fact competing with the Western world at this time. But yes, there are other very big problems which our nation is facing, that our present world, the young generation, or as you said, the educated people have gone very deeply into the mobile network. The family values are vanishing at this time. We are purely concentrating on the communication but forgotten rest of the world. Anywhere you go, starting from the airport or to the office networking system, we are always on mobile phone. But we are lacking the grassroots levels at this time.
Kalra, my question
we need
was
to
different.
balance our life. This is
I got
actually
your point.
lacking
I
in
take
our
your point. My
society.
question was mobile phones actually integrating the nation, because it actually gets you a lot of information and on your handheld. But anyways, I'm moving to a different question now. I'm going to Colonel V.N. Thapar. Colonel Thapar, I would like to ask you, I was reminded by an incident, quite so by somebody whom I happen to know well, and somebody army veteran. He tells me that after the 65 war, when trains went, so people came to the stations and clapped at the soldiers. People cried when they saw soldiers going after the 65 war. You think that spirit is missing, that when we stand by our forces? Because you know, many a times when things happen in the mainland, where we in fact don't value independence or say the national anthem or any other incident, what would happen to the morale of the soldier who's standing at Siachen protecting our borders? What happens to his morale?
I won't restrict myself to 65, because this kind of a spirit
Yes.
was so strong before 65. I joined the army in 62,
Yes.
when the Chinese war was going on. The spirit in the nation was tremendous, you know, and in 65 I am witness to Prime Minister Shastri's efforts to get some help from all the citizens, and literally, you know, people used to come, and my mother included, they just took off their ornaments and put them in a chadar that was being brought to every house to give whatever they want.
Yes.
So that's the kind of spirit. Again, I saw that spirit in 99
In the Kargil war.
in the Kargil war. Now that one big reason was that it was a televised war.
Yes.
The war reached everybody's house, and he could kind of join. He could.
So again, communication, as mobile
communication,
phone
yeah.
communicates and connects, TV is connected.
Yes, TVs connect. So there was a lot of involvement of every family in what was going on the front. But what I want to say is that this kind of a spirit, this kind of a feeling of nationalism, it should not be a periodical happening. The moment you hear Lata Mangeshkar's song "Ye Mere Watan Ke Logon,"
Yes.
you know that it is either Independence Day,
Yes.
or it is Republic Day, or it is Vijay Divas,
Yes.
you know, things like that. Now, this is not a phenomena which must express itself on seasonal. It is not a seasonal phenomena.
Yes.
It has to be consistent. It must be there all the time in you.
Okay.
Your chest must swell
Yes.
with the fact that you are an Indian,
Yes.
right? And that is where the real spirit of India comes.
Okay, I take your point. I am going across to Professor Rizwan. Sir, I would like to ask you one thing. A recent incident happened where in Dubai, many Indians who went to work there got stranded. And after they got stranded, they had no means to connect to India. But then they finally managed to connect to the Ministry of External Affairs, and Sushma Swaraj, our Honorable External Affairs Minister, got them rescued. They say many a times, when in these times you realize that you identify yourself as Indian, and because they were Indian, the Indian government arranged tons of food in Dubai and those countries for them. Do you think that, you know, such incidents actually shake us and make us realize the value of anybody who has faced such a situation, which can in fact be an identity crisis? If somebody asks you when you go abroad, who are you? I am an Indian. So do you think that only such incidents shake us up into conscious, or, you know, there is a need of sensitization on this and more education?
In a way, I would agree with Thapar Sahab when he said that our Indianness becomes episodal.
Yes.
You know, when we are commemorating or celebrating Independence Day the way we would do in couple of days, or Republic Day, or some such occasion, we suddenly realize that, okay, we are Indians,
Yes.
and rest of it. But I think on other occasions, the kind of things that we got to do, say for instance, let me quote Kamal Hassan.
Yes.
In one of his television interview, he said that everybody wants to serve the nation, but where is the nation?
Yes.
He said nation is where you work. And wherever you work, if you are doing your job in the best possible way with this intention that you are helping the country rise from where it is,
Yes.
that is where it is the service to nation. Say for instance, I am a teacher,
Yes.
and if I report to my class
Yes.
in time or on time,
Yes.
and I teach my students in the best possible manner,
Yes.
I am serving my nation.
Okay.
It is this spirit which takes the country far. But then let me tell you, we have also been making a lot of reference to the current generation. Current generation is a pretty smart, but the sense of service to the nation somehow is missing. I mean, let us accept the fact that as kind of value that we have been able to generate is personal success, not the country's success. Is the personal success which has become
Sir,
supreme.
is this what you observe while you teach students?
I not only is my students, but also right across the kind of things that I see happening.
Okay.
Only two days ago, here is a man dying in the street.
Yes.
400, 500 vehicles passing by. Nobody is willing to help.
Somebody stole the
extending-
mobile phone of somebody while somebody
I mean,
was
is that
So
the kind
that's
of
absolute
value
something which is-
that we teach?
Okay, I am going across to Mr. Kalra. Mr. Kalra, Professor Rizwan made his points. How do you look at this?
No, some way he is absolutely right. As he said that there was somebody dying on the road and nobody cared for him. It is actually people turn their back and ignore all this community. So this is what is lacking. One way our nation used to be as a Shravan Kumar ki dharti, and now in other end we are taking discrimination. We are not helping our parents or the community, those are less privileged people. And discomfort is actually floating around all of us.
Okay, I take your point.
I
I'm going to
believe
Ashok
it is all
Vajpayee
due
at
to
this
our
mind.
negligence and
Dr. Ashok
selfishness.
Vajpayee, eminent writer, joins us. Dr. Vajpayee, if I may ask you, India at 69, what does it personally mean to you?
It means a lot. We are what we are because we have been in a country which, in spite of everything, has maintained democracy,
Yes.
has maintained respect for dissent and debate,
Yes.
has maintained a degree of tolerance. And that all these things which have been there for a long while seem to be under pressure, if not under threat.
Yes.
So I feel both very happy that I am an Indian, but I also feel alarmed that the India that we envisaged, both in the Constitution and in the freedom struggle and in literature and the arts, seem to be under stress.
Okay. Dr. Vajpayee, one more question coming at you. I would like to ask you, when actually we got independent, there was a lot of doubts whether this nation stays together or disintegrates. And many well-known people actually said that this country is very difficult for it to remain together. So shouldn't you all be proud also that in a way we are still democratic? There are other nations that have showed dictatorial tendencies, but India remains a strong democratic nation. Isn't that something that will all make us all proud?
Oh yes, of course. We are extremely proud, and we should be so, that this country has survived as a democracy. Barring 1.5 years or whatever of emergency, we have had democracy thriving. In fact, the British believed when they left India that India in its present form, even though partition, cannot survive. And it is not a matter of, it's a matter of great pride that we have not only survived what they thought would not survive, or what they thought would survive the basis of religion. Pakistan got partitioned. We did not. Okay. We have accommodated within the democratic setup all kinds of dissident voices. There were Tamil thing, and there was the Punjab thing, and there was the northeastern thing, and Kashmir. But all said and done, all these tendencies of trying to divide the country have ultimately not succeeded.
Okay, but that in itself speaks a lot. I'm going to Colonel Thapar. Colonel Thapar, I would like to ask you, just a moment before we had the Tiranga actually on the screens before you, the audience could see. Now the Tiranga means a lot to us. It is our identity, Colonel Thapar. And I would like to ask you, our Member of Parliament, former Member of Parliament, Naveen Jindal, he got us the right to fly the Tiranga. So you can, wear it on your clothes or fly it even day and night. Now, do you think the Tiranga is something, since it embodies so much of us and who we are, do you think that we should, like in the United States of America, have it at all squares, in universities, in schools? Do you think we should be doing that? Nothing but just for reminding that this is India, who we were, and that's how we identify. Because at least because you've served in the forces, and as somebody who served in the forces, when you speak of Tiranga, he says, this is what I fight for, this is what I lay down my life for, and when I give my life there on the border, this is what I go to put, and to even if you safeguard our territory, it is for the Tiranga.
Well, you see, as far as we are concerned, we take our oath of allegiance with the national flag.
Yes.
Okay, and it means so much to us because it is the honor, it is the country's honor, it is everything that it represents.
Yes.
More than that, as far as I personally am concerned, even my son's last remains came wrapped in the Tiranga. So it means a lot, it means a lot. So far as flying the flag is concerned, it's a very good initiative. Almost in every town now, we have this. In fact, in Noida itself, there is a very nice, in Sector 39,
yes,
a very nice flag mast has been put up. In Kargil, at Tololing,
yes,
just below Tololing, Mr. Jindal has presented a very huge mast.
In the Kargil,
yeah,
and also in Connaught Place in Delhi.
In Connaught Place,
the Flag
in
Foundation.
Yes. I mean, every town. And I think it's a welcome initiative, but that should not be just a tokenism.
Yes.
It must come to your heart.
You mean you should live by the principles of the Tiranga?
Yeah, you must feel it in your heart.
Okay.
That right. This is the This Tiranga is a symbol of our freedom, it is a symbol of our progressive nature and openness of the mind.
Okay,
You know.
I'm getting in Professor Rizwan at this point. Yes, Professor Rizwan, how would you like to contribute to this?
Well, our Tiranga is not something that India adopted after becoming independent.
Yes.
Tiranga has been a kind of a symbol which was a rallying point for many millions and millions of Indians.
Yes.
I mean, they risked their life, they suffered the bullets and bayonets and the baton in the course of the freedom struggle, and therefore the tricolor of India symbolizes a spirit of a struggle, the spirit to fight for independence, and finally got the independence. But I think once again, allow me to agree with Colonel Thapar when he said that while everybody respects and everybody ought to respect the national flag, but the spirit behind the respect is that what does it mean? What does India mean? Does it mean simply you respect Tiranga and do not respect the rest that India consists of?
Yes.
And one such thing is the kind of secular democracy that India was able to establish in 1947 and especially in 1950 once it declared itself a republic. The kind of linguistic, religious, cultural diversity that it consists of.
Yes.
Why is it that in their own country some people are not accepted as wholesome Indian as others? I have no qualms in mentioning about friends from northeastern part of India. Why are they subjected to all kinds of hostility? It is this spirit that we got to teach our younger generation that look, they are Indians as we are Indians. Some travel group from Andamans,
Yes.
or some are still travel group from Lakshadweep and elsewhere in the remote part of northeastern part of India, Arunachal, elsewhere, that we should be able to continuously teach.
That's a very
While
important
this-
message. That's a
Yeah.
very important message coming from Professor Rizwan. It is not only the Tiranga that matters, but we should live by the principle which is embodies. Is that what you said? That's what you said. Yes, Mr. Kalra, very quickly your comment on this.
Please. No, I strongly believe, yes, we are a proud nation and all citizens should respect our Tiranga, and that's a symbol, and the message should keep spreading around the world that we are all united and we stand for our nation.
Okay, I'm going across to Dr. Vajpayee. Dr. Vajpayee, now as a nation, if you look at the challenges, I mean, this nation has weathered a lot of challenges. We are talking of whether the Naxalite problem or the problem that we face in Kashmir or the problem of poverty which we are fighting. So there are many problems that we are having or we are facing. Still, in face of all those problems, if we have take the example of India versus Pakistan, Pakistan showed dictatorial tendencies, it had military dictatorship, where India has managed to stay democratic. What is in this land that democracy flourishes? As a writer, sir, what do you think? What is there in this land that we have been able to be democratic?
You see, India has a very long tradition of plurality.
Yes.
In fact, in some of the Western languages, the word for India is Indies, which means Indias.
Yes.
Nothing in this country has been allowed to be singular for long. Everything has to be plural. That plurality, whether of religion or language or gods or cuisine or custom or costume, has been the sustaining force. And democracy is only a more organized form of respecting and allowing this plurality to sustain itself. Without plurality and without respect for plurality and without openness to outside, as a civilization, we would not have survived. If we have survived for millennia as a civilization, and let me remind you, India is one of those countries which is not merely a country but also a civilization.
Yes.
And the number of civilizations in the world is far and few.
So you're saying this, we're talking of a 5,000-year-old or more
Yes.
civilization compared to many other countries which may be very recently formed 200 or 250, 300, 400-year-old democracies. But I'm going across to Colonel Thapar to take his view.
You see, I agree with whatever has been said, And taking off from the points given by Professor Rizwan and earlier speakers,
Yes.
we try to find faults with the present generation,
Yes.
which is very unfortunate.
Yes.
If the present generation is not coming up to certain expectations, then who's to blame for it? It is the parents, it is the teachers, it is the preachers, and it is the leaders.
Who are older?
Of course, they are supposed to guide them.
Yes.
We have substituted the value system in India from whatever we see on the MTV and Facebook and such like things. We have forgotten altogether our own, whatever was India and India stood for, we have forgotten that, and we have not substituted it to keep abreast with the modern requirements. Nobody has put forth. If he says that in the northeast people are being neglected, who is to blame for it?
Yes. We ourselves.
We means the elders,
Yes.
the people who should have guided the generation now.
Yes.
And even now, I mean, there is no such time lost. Everything can be set right,
Yes.
provided we realize that.
Okay.
Provided we are conscious of
Yes.
what is
Yes.
going wrong.
Okay. So, I have got to Professor Rizwan. Professor Rizwan, is it to say that Hindustani, the people who live on this land, are essentially moderates that is responsible for us being such a successful democracy?
Yeah, I think not only moderate, but is like managing the diversity in political manner. And mind you, democracy has not been a gift from anyone. Democracy is something which has been really fought by Indians
We
in the
gave it
course
to
of the
ourselves.
freedom. We definitely gave it to us in the course of the freedom struggle.
Okay.
And that's been the cherished dream of the freedom fighters.
I'll take that cue, and we're totally out of time. So, democracy is something we gave it to us. Taking it
yeah,
from
yeah,
you,
yeah, we fought for
we
it
fought
and we got it.
So, thank you so much for joining us on today's discussion. A happy Independence Day to all our viewers and all of us. And it is true, as all panelists said, that we remain truly a nation which has remained independent, which has remained democratic due to all of us Indians. It is not of a particular person. It is we Indians or Hindustanis who ensured that this nation is democratic, successful and moderate, in which there are many religions and there are people speaking many languages, and each and all live happily. There are differences, but largely we remain Indians and we are one. We stand as one. Happy Independence Day to all of you. Thank you.